Hi, this is Isha from Elle, and today I'm with the cast of Four More Shots, Please. Firstly, guys, congratulations on season 3.
Thank you.
Just to make things a little bit fun, I'm going to start with the game round.
Yes.
It's called Who's Most Likely To.
Amazing.
Yeah?
Kirti.
All right. All right, so who's most likely to insist that everyone has 4 more shots?
Shayani.
Shy.
Okay, break character and laugh out loud on set.
Manvi. And me.
Yeah, both of us.
Talk the most between set breaks.
Manvi.
Manvi.
This is easy. Not me.
And forget lines frequently.
None of
Prateek.
us.
Oh,
yeah.
Prateek.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Prateek,
why you say,
yeah.
oh, it's true.
All right, and for the new season, what shall the audience expect?
Jim sir.
Jim, yeah. Yeah.
Jim sir.
Okay, anything else?
Yeah, and
Shilpa
Rohan Mehra
Shukla.
and Shilpa Shukla and Sushant,
Sushant
Singh.
Singh.
Okay.
A lot
And
of
the
new
rest of us.
characters, a lot of depth,
New spaces.
Some old characters.
new locations,
Yeah.
and
Fantastic locations.
lots of fun.
And a great music album, huh, by the way. Like, it's a pretty good
Oh yeah,
music
the
album,
music. Yeah.
Cool. And so, what will the dynamics be like among the 4 best friends in season 3?
Oh, we hate each other this season.
Our friendship is stronger, more meaningful in terms of you know, we have truly learned to sort of connect and be there for each other. Also, there's you will see
A lot of one-on-one.
Interpersonal dynamics.
more interpersonal dynamics between us, and yeah, there's almost no judgment this season in terms of, you know, like telling each other. No judging. I mean, you are there, you're supporting, you understand. There's a lot of understanding that I think everyone's sort of coming with at each other. Siddhi's character has a very, she's in a very different space this season. So there's also a lot of tolerance from the friends.
I don't know if it's tolerance or it's like, kya ho raha hai yaar?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
It's
trying to
tolerance,
be
like,
understanding.
Yeah.
We're trying to be
both,
very
actually.
understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're trying to
Also-
not kill her actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're really holding
very
ourselves. I
hard.
told you we hate each other.
Yeah.
And I'm pushing it.
Pushing
Yeah,
it,
like
really
testing our
pushing it.
boundaries
Yeah.
this season.
Yeah.
Mans is really testing our boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Not
Siddhi.
But even on the set, I was like, both ho gaya. Both ho gaya.
But also showing the
Snap
mirror,
out of
you know, to
character.
each other and being like, dude, like, just
Yeah.
what are you doing, you know? And also coming to terms with the people we are, ultimately.
And you know the thing of
On
like
and
you,
off.
unfortunately, you take the people that are closest to you for granted,
Yeah.
and you sometimes end up mistreating them,
Yeah.
and because they're close to you, and you feel like they'll understand, and like there's a bit of that
Yeah.
in this season.
From her angle, not ours.
Just being
We're
humble.
like cool. We're being cool.
Yeah.
All right, and how has the journey been so far working with each other?
Who wants to take that?
Tedious.
No idea who these women are. Just meet them and I'm on set. Screen.
It's been
Let's
a
do
roller
one
coaster,
minute
yeah?
check,
Yeah.
Roller coaster.
And
One
Jim,
adjective bolo
Oh,
na.
I'm
one
thinking,
word.
yeah.
what about you? You've just
said
joined the
tedious.
season, so
Tedious. You say, no?
As far as what it was for me, very easy, really drama free, and in general,
Was it though?
in general,
Was it though?
yeah, like quite relaxed and fun. And I think the Italy schedule particularly was brilliant. Like I got to know, I knew all 3 of them before. I got to know Bani, of course, a lot better over the course of the shoot. And I also got to hang with Prateek and Neil a lot while I was there, which was so much fun.
It was amazing. We had the best time.
can you tell us a little bit about your role on the show?
I really don't like to talk about my characters before
Yeah,
they come out
yeah.
because I think it just cheapens the experience for an audience, or it kind of like makes an audience think that it has to be a certain way, where I'm much more interested in their interpretation of my character. It's like, tell me a bit about yourself, Jim. I would rather you just
Get to
made
know,
your
yeah.
opinion, you know?
All right. So we've seen, you know, your characters tackling various stereotypes and societal issues, be it shame, like body shaming or gender inequality or female pleasure, you know, just to name a few. But can you tell me what more season 3 also will be addressing?
Grief.
So yeah,
Loss.
dealing with grief and loss.
Alright.
There's
Horrible comedic timing. How that's affected by grief.
Yeah.
second
Also
chances.
confusion, confusion in second chances. Also confusion in terms of, you know, not knowing who to be with.
Yeah.
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 Also,
I mean that.
Yeah. Also closure.
ambiguity.
yeah. Also closure. Yes, very much.
And
letting go. Letting
Yes,
go.
letting
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. And lack of drive, and that also is confusion.
Again, we've
The
come.
show has addressed these, a lot of important issues. Many people are of the opinions that the topics are very superficially covered, but the thing is that they are being talked about. Like, that's the point. So, what would you like to say to people who make these kind of, statements or opinions? What's your take on it?
That they're not talked about or they are talked about?
No,
They're
but they're
superficially
superficially
covered.
covered.
That they say that it's
Yeah,
superficially
but
covered.
you have to. First of all, there
Better
are
than
4
not talking about
protagonists,
it, I guess.
4
Yeah.
individual journeys of these 4 girls. With them come the other characters that are in their respective tracks, and some of them, also are interacting. So there's only that much you can do in half an hour, or 25 minutes, or 40 minutes of an episode. Yeah. That's there
off
is
the
only
plot.
an extent to which you
Kirti's
can
gone.
cover, and I mean the idea is to cover a lot of things that happen to women. Now, if we are not. It's not a show like that. It's not a film only about body image. For example, there are so many things, and we are all going through so many things. So it's not possibly. It's not possible to go in-depth research and that kind of thing for everything, all the topics.
Also, we don't want to sound very preachy,
Yeah.
right? At the same, I
It's a
mean,
fun show.
Yeah, we want to keep it light, but we want people to understand what it is that we are saying when we are saying something. So it's more about that, I think.
Earlier in the earlier question, you said something about female pleasure, and then I was like thinking about how funny it is that we have to quantify the pleasure by putting female behind it just to like even talk about it.
Yeah.
And I think that this show will have done something like that, for example. Like it's
Yeah.
taken something that otherwise people have completely ignored
Exactly.
and made it like front and
At
center.
least we're talking about it.
Exactly.
So already that's a
yeah, that is a win.
I mean, too bad that you think it's superficial.
Yeah.
So at
You
least-
are superficial.
yeah. One can make the argument that your gaze is superficial,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
necessarily
Yeah.
what you look at.
Yeah. Okay, there's also some great fashion on the show, and every character has developed their own unique sense of style and aesthetic. So do you think that translates into real life as well? For the kind of characters that you're playing, do you think that translates into real life?
For
Yeah.
me, yes.
Translates
Yeah.
in a sense.
Like, do you carry any, like,
Yeah.
has it affected your
yeah,
sense
I
of
mean,
No,
style?
my sense of style was always great. I'm sorry. So it comes to me naturally, and I'm very. In fact, Rianne and Astha Sharma, who's the style director of the show, and Rianne, they do an outstanding job, and not just dressing
Shout
us into
out to
pretty,
Astha and Rianne.
yeah, not just pretty clothes, also our individual makeup hair teams. But not just individually, but how distinctively different all 4 girls are, and they have their own personal style.
And yet
Yeah.
it needs to look cohesive.
Cohesive
Yeah.
in one frame.
Yeah.
And Rongita, who's the showrunner, she's also on the ball, and she has a great sense of what looks good. And sometimes we fight with her, but
Sometimes you manage to convince her,
convince
sometimes she
her.
convinces us.
But ultimately, if you listen to what she's saying,
Yeah.
it looks good on camera. Yeah.
No, I think personally for me, it's been, I have become better in terms of my styling and my understanding of fashion and all of that. So I have a lot of credit to give to For More Shots, Please, and I'm always out there wanting to learn and get better. And I'm glad that, as they mentioned, we have a team which, which pushes it every season. And yeah, thanks to them, I know how to dress up better.
Okay, and do you think people will be able to push the envelope with their styling choices when they see you on screen?
They do
They
already.
have.
They
They
have
come up to
started
I
us.
think
doing
that
Yeah.
happens when they
Our-
see me
yeah.
in person. In real life, I feel like I'm doing it for them anyway.
Yeah. For More
Body
Shots has that
stylish.
effect.
I'm very stylish, guys. It's a very different style as to what you're used to. But
Yeah.
But it's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, and I believe there's also an intimacy coordinator on the set because there are a lot
Where?
of intimate
Today?
scenes
What are we doing? Where is she? Just kidding.
on the set.
Yes.
But how important is the role of an intimacy coordinator?
Massively important, I would say, extremely important, especially if you yourself are not so communicative or with somebody new that you perhaps have to do a scene with. If you don't feel so comfortable talking about boundaries, especially sexual boundaries as such on a scene, or if your director is not so comfortable, what are you going to do, right? So I feel as though just being able to talk about these things makes it a lot easier, especially since you are the one who's in the scene doing it with a co-actor. And so, like, even with Jim, even though we had an intimacy director, I did ask him, we had this discussion ourselves about what are your no-touch zones and what are you okay, touching, and he was like, are you okay with tongue? And I was like, that's a joke, right? And he was like, no. And I was like, no. And he's like, okay. So you just have to like go through it, but like in like a serious way, obviously, manner, because you're just trying to get the choreography right in what you have to do in the scene. And yeah, and then we have choreography, like I said. So it's like a proper movement that has to happen. You have certain shots you got to do. Everyone has to work together. The DOP, camera, whoever else is in the room. Yeah, and it's pretty clear.
Yeah.
Also, it's really important for like other women on set,
Yeah, of
like
course.
the crew. And if there's a
And it's always a
scene
closed
which is
set.
yeah, and if there's a scene which is triggering for them, we don't know the kind of experiences people have
Yeah.
had. So it kind of takes care of that as well.
The conversation
Which
is
I
very
think,
important to
yeah.
have.
Also, like, of course, for the comfort between the two actors, taking it away, taking the onus off them from having to ask the questions. Really.
Yeah.
I mean, let's say me and Bani are confident enough to do that ourselves,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
but
not
some-
everybody
yeah.
may be.
But other
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
are not, yeah.
So taking that onus off the actors is also a good thing. And on top of that, you know, and it may not apply to this show particularly, I feel like the director wants to get what they want to
Yeah,
get.
the
you
exact
know?
shots, yeah.
I mean, and it's up to the intimacy coordinator to come in and represent how much the actor is comfortable
Yeah.
Exactly,
doing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be the actor on set being like,
Listen, but I
actually,
don't wanna do
I don't
this.
think so.
I
Yeah.
really would
Yeah.
rather
Yeah.
not. You know,
Yeah.
you're in an awkward situation.
Yeah.
You know, you're
To
holding
put
up
your
the
foot
set.
down, yeah, yeah.
They're like your shield, you know.
Well,
Yeah.
they're supposed to be, yes.
And Asta Khanna,
Yeah.
big shout out to her, was the intimacy coordinator on our show. Yeah.
Was this something that has just started coming in the OTT space or in films in general?
In
Having
India,
intimacy
yeah,
in
in
India,
India,
right?
yeah.
actually. We had an intimacy coordinator for Margarita with a Straw in New York. Her name is Monsoon Bissell. And it made a difference, you know.
Yeah.
And Adil Hussain, actually, who's a brilliant actor, but also
Yeah.
he did the workshops with us, used to. And it made a huge difference in terms of, you know, how Kalki and I were with each other and how our bond became later on,
Yeah.
you know, the confidence we had in each other, the comfort. But in India, it's a very new thing, and I
Yeah.
think Asta Khanna is one of the, you know, she's brought it here. And
But I think this is sorry. The coming to India is like a big. It's a big result of the Me Too movement
Yeah.
that happened
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
India, and I think one of the only good things that have come out of the Me Too thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like before that I was the coordinator. What do you guys think?
Yeah. All right, and this is my last question for y'all. How much do y'all relate to your own characters in real life as well?
Yeah, I was telling the girls, in fact, the other interview, the 4 girls, and it was an Instagram thing with who do you relate to the most.
Yeah.
And I saw mine, it was Damini, a perfectionist, but never asks for help. And I saw it and literally I was like, I showed my friend, I was like, oh my God, like it feels like I'm reading it about myself. Because my friends were talking about the same thing, that I do it. And sometimes the lines are so blurred, you know.
Yeah.
It's freaky.
I started with not relating to the character at all, but
Okay.
as in season 1. But I think now there's a bit of me in it. There's a bit of her in me. So I think it's somewhere we're friends.
Yeah, Umang's a really good friend of mine. I'm quite fond of her. She makes a couple of mistakes every now and then, but I'm like, it's okay. You'll be fine. We'll see you through
I got
it.
you.
It's all good. I'm here. I feel like the older, wiser version of her. That's how I feel.
Thankfully that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's you develop a lot of empathy. I don't know about. I mean, I don't. It's not like Anjana is me and all of that, but there are bits and pieces which obviously you are also playing the character, so it tends to the lines sort of sometimes get blurred. But I think what happens more is that you start seeing things from another perspective. You start being in another's shoes, and I think that makes you really, as they said, form a bond with the character you're playing and start seeing them very, very empathetically and very compassionately.
Would you like to say anything?
I am still getting to
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
Sean.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I am Sean.
Okay. Thank you so much,
Thank
guys, and all the
you.
best. Thank you. so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you so much.